According to your lawsuit, you were hired by a security firm to work security at one of the infamous white parties that was thrown by Sean Combs in the Hamptons. What was that experience like?
At first, he was incredibly friendly, very gracious. Once I was in a helpless position and he was sure that he was in a position of power, then he took advantage of the situation.
You allege that you were forcibly pushed into an SUV by Sean Combs.
I was screaming. I was telling him to stop. It was incredibly painful, and he was acting like it was nothing. And he seemed to be disconnected from it. It was abusive beyond belief.
Every time we think the allegations against Diddy can't possibly get worse, something new emerges that takes the situation to an even darker place. It's beginning to seem as though we may never reach the end of the shocking and horrific stories surrounding him. Just when we thought the allegations couldn't escalate further, yet another victim has come forward to share their traumatic experiences. And it is just as disturbing as the stories that came before. This time, the allegations involve not just accusations of misconduct with minors, but also claims that Diddy allegedly preyed upon grown men as well, a detail that adds an even more troubling layer to his already sinister reputation. The situation surrounding Diddy has reached such a level of horror that it almost feels like a storyline ripped straight from a scandalous Netflix drama. However, the troubling reality is that more and more people continue to come forward with their stories, and the pattern appears to be worsening with each new revelation. If there's one thing that has become painfully clear, it's that Diddy is allegedly at the center of some of the most serious accusations in Hollywood. What started with a handful of allegations has now evolved into an avalanche of testimonies, many of which paint him as one of the worst figures in the entertainment industry. Back in October, Texas-based attorney Tony Buzbee made a shocking announcement that further amplified the scale of Diddy's alleged wrongdoing. Buzbee revealed that he was representing more than 120 individuals who claimed to have been harmed by the music mogul over the years. This revelation took the number of alleged victims far beyond the 8 lawsuits that had already been filed against Diddy, adding even more weight to the growing public backlash against him. As if this wasn't jarring enough, Buzbee's announcement came with a startling detail. His office had received over 3,000 allegations against Diddy, a staggering number that points to the sheer scope of the accusations. After court narrating to Buzbee, his team had conducted a thorough vetting process to ensure the validity of the claims. After careful review, they had identified and verified around 120 solid allegations. Buzbee made it clear that his office wasn't involved in a money grab or a frivolous pursuit, but was committed to representing real victims who had suffered under Diddy's alleged actions. He also disclosed that they plan to file lawsuits across several states, bringing the allegations to a broader audience and pushing for accountability in multiple jurisdictions. For anyone who might think these lawsuits are simply a result of opportunistic individuals looking for financial gain, Buzbee's message was clear. His office had done their due diligence to validate the claims. The decision to proceed with such a large-scale legal action wasn't taken lightly, and the lawyers involved have spent a significant amount of time confirming the legitimacy of the testimonies they've received. These 120 verified claims are just the beginning, as more victims continue to come forward. The news of these claims is so shocking that it feels almost surreal, yet the details continue to unfold with increasing gravity. The sheer volume of people who have come forward to accuse Diddy of various forms of harm, from sexual assault to other forms of abuse, suggests a pattern of behavior that stretches over many years. In an industry where power dynamics are often skewed, Diddy's alleged actions now stand as an example of the darker side of fame and influence, where the abuse of power can extend to both women and men, regardless of age. For those who have been following the case, it's becoming harder to ignore the mounting evidence. Each new lawsuit and each new victim's testimony paints a more harrowing, life-altering picture of the alleged abuse that took place behind the scenes of the entertainment world. Whether or not Diddy will face legal consequences remains to be seen, but the continued flow of victims speaking out is making it increasingly difficult for his legacy to remain untarnished. This ongoing saga is more than just a legal battle. It represents a much larger conversation about abuse of power, exploitation, and accountability in the entertainment industry. As the number of victims rises and the details of their allegations become more public, it's clear that this scandal has far-reaching implications. People are watching, waiting to see how the system will respond to the avalanche of accusations against one of Hollywood's most powerful figures. And with every new allegation that surfaces, it becomes increasingly impossible to dismiss the gravity of what is at stake. In the end, Diddy's story, like so many others in the entertainment industry, serves as a painful reminder of the systemic abuse that can occur when power is unchecked. As more victims come forward, and as the legal process unfolds, the full extent of Diddy's alleged actions may finally be revealed. But for now, the shocking details continue to surface, and the questions surrounding his conduct seem to grow more pressing by the day.
Our team has had at this point more than 3,285 individuals contact us, with people claiming to have been victimized by Sean Combs. After vetting, we now represent 120 individuals who intend to bring civil claims in civil court against Sean Diddy Combs, as well as claims against many other individuals and entities that we will name as defendants as we file these individual cases.
The attorney didn't hold back in recounting some of the alleged victims' disturbing experiences, and one particular story left the audience stunned. A woman who claimed she was pregnant at the time shared her terrifying encounter at one of Diddy's events. Being pregnant, she made sure to avoid alcohol and expected to remain sober throughout the evening. However, she alleged that someone spiked her drink, causing her to lose consciousness. When she woke up, she found herself in bed next to Diddy and claimed he had allegedly assaulted her so violently that she was left physically injured and sore.
Another instance, the individual, this time not a minor, attended a group dinner, allegedly with Sean Combs in Miami. She wasn't drinking because she was pregnant, but whatever she drank at the table, apparently, at least according to her, was laced with something. She blacked out, and she woke up in the same bed, again allegedly, with Mr. Combs in his mansion in Miami. Her vagina and her anus were torn and sore. And I could go on. I mean, literally, you're sensing a theme here.
And if you thought it couldn't get any worse, think again. According to page 6, one of the 120 alleged victims who came forward claims that they were just 9 years old when Diddy allegedly hurt them. 9. According to page 6, the lawyer Tony Busby said this individual, who was 9 years old at the time, was taken to an audition in New York City with Bad Boy Records. Other boys were there to audition as well. All of the kids were seeking TV or music careers, with promises of, "We'll make you a star." According to Busby, this individual was allegedly by Sean Combs and several other people at the studio, with the promise to both his parents and himself of getting a record deal. He also spoke about another 15-year-old victim who was attacked by Diddy and his friends in the studio, saying another instance, an individual 15 years old at the time was flown to New York City to attend a party where she was, and then taken to a private room allegedly in the presence of Mr. Combs. Busby continued, this female individual was SAA, and then other individuals took turns raping her. Don't even get me started on the other lawsuit about how Diddy and his bestie Jay-Z allegedly SA 13-year-old at the MTV Video Music Awards. According to Variety, Jane Doe was 13 years old on September 7, 2000. When she tried to attend the MTV Video Music Awards, she could not get into the award show without a ticket, and therefore approached several limousine drivers after the event to see if she could attend in after. Instead, a myriad of accomplices wandered around the drag show without any such ticket. Party one of the drivers allegedly worked for Combs and drove the PL to a party where she signed a non-disclosure agreement and accepted a drink they went on. To say that after just one drink, the plaintiff alleged that she began to feel woozy and lightheaded and made her way to an empty bedroom to lie down. Soon after, Combs allegedly entered the room with a male celebrity turning the tables. The plaintiff was against Alibaba based on claims of rape by her, which were leveled against her brother, sister-in-law when she was 15 and 40 years old. She then alleges that she was by the male celebrity as a female celebrity watched by Combs's beloved wife, Pamela Cutter. The plaintiff was against Alibaba by Combs, as both celebrities watched. The suit goes on to allege that after the assault, the plaintiff, who now lives in Alabama, fell into deep depression, which continues to affect every facet of her life. Daisy recently got named in a lawsuit, but that's a story for another day. Anyway, even with the multiple lawsuits, there have been rumors that there are still many victims who haven't come forward. And now there are reports that Diddy had some seriously messed up things going on at his 4th of July parties. For some contacts back in the day, Diddy used to throw some epic all-white parties every 4th of July. It was a very big deal in the industry. Y'all know how Michael Rubin throws lavish 4th of July parties every year. Well, that used to be Diddy back in the day, and even though things seem normal, there are now reports that some creepy things happen behind the scenes. For example, a man named Justin Latosky recently came out to claim that he attended Diddy's 4th of July party one year when he was only 6. His parents were there, and they thought the party was family-friendly, so they took their son along. However, it quickly became clear that it was not family-friendly. And given this picture of Diddy touching a young Justin so closely, it looks like there might have been some cause for concern. In a new interview, Justin spoke about how he felt that night, claiming that he was super uncomfortable.
He put his arm around me in an uncomfortable way, close to areas that you shouldn't as a grown man. So I remember marijuana, and topless women. That's the two main things that I remember.
To his parents' credit, they did step in and try to save the situation.
People were getting high. There were girls swimming topless, young-looking girls that were, not dressed. We moved to another part of the house so that he wouldn't be exposed to what was going on.
To his parents' credit, they did step in and try to save the situation.
According to your lawsuit, you were hired by a security firm to work security at one of the infamous white parties that was thrown by Sean Combs in the Hamptons. What was that experience like?
At first, he was incredibly friendly, very gracious. Once I was in a helpless position and he was sure that he was in a position of power, then he took advantage of the situation.
You allege that you were forcibly pushed into an SUV by Sean Combs.
I was screaming. I was telling him to stop. It was incredibly painful, and he was acting like it was nothing. And he seemed to be disconnected from it. But it was abusive beyond belief.
But that's not all, because in a heartbreaking turn of events, yet another man has come out to claim that Diddy allegedly saw him at a 4th of July situation where he worked as security.